And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The big show is on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. This is the Rob Brown Show. I, of course, am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the pinnacle of professionalism, the alpha and the omega of ESPN Upstate. He is the conductor of Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show. Lonzo at the helm. What up, Zoe?
Hi. How are you today?
Just dandy. Thank you so much for asking.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad to be here on this award-winning program for another excellent show.
I mean, do we do any other kind?
Not that I'm aware of.
Me either.
Maybe it happens when I'm not here, but since I'm always here, we're good.
Doesn't happen. Exactly right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Great to be with you once again. I am Rob Brown. That is Lonzo. We are thrilled to have you along for the ride. Should you wish to be a part of the show, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307-71307. If you wish to go along in that direction, you can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, and at ESPN Upstate. Busy day on the broadcast today, and we are about to jump straight into it because to get off on the foot we need to get off on, today is going to be a very interesting day for college football. Let's go ahead and just get started because the lunch breakdown don't take a minute.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Hey, would you look at that? Would you look at that? On my Facebook memories today, comes up a tweet from 3 years ago about that time that Urban Meyer sheltered and hid a serial domestic abuser inside his Ohio State Buckeyes program and didn't do anything about it because, quote, he followed his heart, not his head, end quote. Just shocking. Anyway, just found that to be interesting and coincidental. The day after the Jags and Herb took to the field against my Saints last night. Yeah. Speaking of Jags Saints, item number one on the lunch breakdown was that game from last night. The New Orleans Saints knock off the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-1. It was a football game. It was a preseason football game. Big news from the early portion of the game. Just 3 plays into the game, and former Clemson stud running back Travis Etienne had to leave due to what is being labeled as a mid-foot sprain suffered in the preseason L yesterday. According to Adam Schefter, Etienne's injured foot will require further testing. According to sources, the rookie was spotted wearing a protective boot after the game. Per ESPN injury analyst Stefania Bell, midfoot sprains can vary widely in terms of recovery time, and a big factor in the course of treatment will be whether it is deemed stable or unstable. At that point, Etienne had caught 1 pass for 3 yards and carried the ball 1 time for 1 yard before having to leave the football game. Trevor Lawrence taking over as the starter last night. Played the entire first half of that game. It looked, he had some moments, Lonzo. You and I talked a little bit about it. He had some moments where he looked like he was a little more confident, a little more in control of the game than he was last week. But there were also a couple of spots where the Saints defensive front seven, as I told you they would, began to bear down on Trevor Lawrence, and he looked a little a little jittery, a little uncomfortable with the ball. Ended up 14 of 23 for a $113, no touches, no picks.
He looked like a rookie quarterback. You got to wonder, though, when you have the kind of pressure that he has on him as far as being the next Andrew Luck, being all these things that we knew when he came out of high school he was going to be an NFL star, all that kind of pressure on him, and he goes out and he looks like a rookie. He's holding the ball too long. He's not checking down to receivers that might be open, but a lot of it does have to do with going up against a great defense. But, for the most part, all the defenses you're going to go up against in the NFL, they're pretty good. They are. So these are things that he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to recognize things quicker, and he's also going to have to run more because that's the only way he's going to stay alive.
Somebody during the broadcast last night, I want to say it was maybe Levy, was telling a story that Herb told to him and said, well, for us, for me and Trev now, it's like we're playing Alabama every week. My thought was, no, it's like you're playing better than Alabama every single week. If you are looking at this and you are contrasting what you are seeing on the NFL field with Nick Saban's Alabama team, it's going to be a very, very long year for the Jags and a very, very short tenure in Jacksonville for Urban Meyer.
Here's how I look at it. If you see what happened to Clemson when they went up against Ohio State, this has nothing to do with my bias towards Ohio State. This has to do with them playing a defense that wanted to get at him because it had emotion behind it and all that kind of stuff. But Ohio State's defense, not as good as the worst defense in the NFL. Those are things he's going to have to contend with. And you have to wonder, and I've seen it on social media, and I agree with it to a great degree. The ACC does not prepare you for what you're going to face when you get to the NFL.
Correct. It's a different animal. It's a different beast.
Whereas if you're in the SEC, you're a lot more prepared than what you are in the ACC because you're facing a lot of the guys that you're going to see on Sunday.
Not disagreeing that you are better served to be prepared in the SEC than really any other conference.
Just slowly roll if you think that he's going to come in and he's going to turn this thing around right away. He might eventually, but it's probably not going to be this year. He's going to spend a lot of time. Look at Troy Aikman. There's a lot of guys. Peyton Manning. I mean, and you're throwing those names out because everybody else is throwing those out. Those guys struggled in the first couple of seasons, and then he turned it around. Will he be in that company? Will he turn it around? I don't know. He has the potential. We're just going to have to wait and see. But people are going to need to be patient and hope he doesn't get injured because that's really what it comes down to.
Sure. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like I said, if the comparison that Herb and CL are making is it feels like playing Alabama every week, I'm not super thrilled about that if I'm a Jacksonville fan. You have to know the league is faster than that.
Yeah, but you know what, Rob? He looks really good in the uniform.
He looks great in the uniform.
He looks really good in the uniform.
He really is. Although I got to say, I think, I've always said I don't think every football uniform needs to look the same. I'm fine. They need a stripe on the pants, right? Like, it's not a bad look. The color scheme actually has grown on me. First off, I'm glad they got rid of the balding guy helmets where they were black in the front and gold in the back, and they look like a really platinum blonde balding guy. All right.
Yeah, those look like practice pants.
Yeah, but they need a stripe on the pants.
They look like practice pants because practice pants usually don't have anything. Yeah, that's what they look like.
Other than that, TL16 looks great in the Jags uni. I'm not arguing with that at all. I will say this.
It also looks a little bit
Trevor.
like long underwear.
It does. Trevor, slide. Trevor, slide. He took a shot, like a couple of shots last night, man. Couple of shots. We'll break down his game a little bit more later on in the show. I also have a couple of theories, things that you are going to watch in this later on. Some thoughts that I want you to be prepared as the struggles of TL16 will increase when the regular season gets here. We'll break that down. Plus, I think Lonzo, I think it's pretty good. You can go ahead and say Jameis Winston won the starting role for the Saints last night.
He did, but he was. I don't get the whole competition thing. It was set up for Jameis to win, but at the same time, Jameis was going up against defense with a new coach and what they say, like only 1 or 2 carryovers from the year before as far as the defense goes.
They were bad last year.
Yeah, so it's not like he's going up against a stellar defense. His receivers bailed him out a couple of times.
Marquez Callaway from Tennessee ain't no joke, is he?
I got to tell you.
2 one-handed snags.
I didn't see him catch that first one. I thought it was pass interference. I'm looking at that. And then they waved off the flag. I'm like, why did they wave off the flag? And then they replay. He caught that. He absolutely caught that. Now, if he's gonna have guys do that for him all year, it's looking pretty good for you. But I thought he underthrew some people and things like. He was good. He wasn't great.
That wasn't great.
But, yeah, he was good enough to win the starting job.
Yeah, he absolutely was. All right, we'll talk more about that later on in the show as well. Item number 2, federal prosecutors say that they now intend to prove that former LA Angels staffer Eric Kay not only was giving drugs to players, including Tyler Skaggs. Remember, Skaggs was the player who passed away back in 2019 due to an overdose of fentanyl. They say that Eric Kay ran a full-on drug distribution operation that supplied illegal narcotics to several MLB players, including the fentanyl that led to the death of Tyler Skaggs. By the way, here she goes again, Lonzo. Amy Dash from the League of Justice broke this story yesterday. According to documents filed in court on Friday and obtained by the LA Times and the League of Justice's Amy Dash, quote, approximately, end quote, 5 MLB players are prepared to testify that they obtained oxycodone from Eric Kay. Prosecutors allege that Kay coordinated the supply of narcotics from 9 different suppliers and sometimes used Skaggs as a middleman for distribution. The filing reads, quote, the evidence will demonstrate that Kay often coordinated the distribution through text messages or even through conversations involving the victim. Evidence will also demonstrate that Kay was motivated to obtain these pills because Kay could himself use some of the pills he obtained for the players. Now, the filing did not name the 5 MLB players whose testimony may be used or what teams they play for. The federal government indicted Kay in October on charges of conspiracy to possess with intention to distribute a controlled substance and distribution of a controlled substance resulting in death and serious bodily injury. Kay pled not guilty and is scheduled to start trial on October 4th. Why is this interesting? This is interesting because, remember, Skaggs' family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Angels of Anaheim that names Eric Kay and fellow former Angels staffer Tim Mead. Both men worked in the team's communications department. Mead was Kay's manager. His attorney has previously denied to ESPN that he had knowledge of the alleged drug distribution operation. But prosecutors allege that Kay started distributing drugs to Angels players in 2017. The Angels released a statement saying that civil suit against them is, quote, entirely without merit and the allegations are baseless and irresponsible, and that they, quote, they intend to, quote, vigorously defend these lawsuits in court, end quote. Now, the reason that this is more interesting because of that lawsuit is because of the fact that you now have some people, Amy Dash included, who are saying that there may be some evidence inside of these filings that the Angels may have known more than what they've let on. The Angels may have known more than they let on. And she put up on Twitter last night, as a matter of fact, and I'm trying to find the exact tweet that caught my attention last night. I tweeted it back out with just the caption, wow, because it was a little bit surprising to me. It was a little bit shocking to me, to tell you the truth. According to Amy Dash, quote, the feds allege ex-Angel employee Eric K. was running a drug operation within the Angels organization and using Tyler Skaggs as a middleman. K allegedly distributed opioids to at least 6 Angels players, which means that even if they weren't directly responsible, right, the Angels had 6 different players on their team, 6 different players on their team that were directly receiving illegal narcotics from one of their high-level management. They didn't know anything about it. That's just bad club management. Part of the reason this is interesting to me, Lonzo is a baseball guy if I'm talking about baseball. On that team, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, they have 2 players. Mike Trout, who is the best of this generation, and Shohei Ohtani, who is the Babe Ruth of this generation. This team has 2 guys on their roster that should be icons of this generation in baseball, should be the only people we are talking about. And instead, we wake up today and talk about there being a literal drug ring being run inside the walls of this franchise. That is pathetic. Baseball, pathetic.
That also makes you wonder. I mean, is there stuff like this going on in other sports the same way? I mean, it's just like you said, it's hard to believe that they're doing this under the nose of everybody. But at the same time, if you can't know everything that's going on, but wouldn't you think that maybe some things suspicious happened and maybe a blind eye was turned, or that maybe it goes even higher as far as the people who knew about this? This is weird because these guys make a lot of money. I guess you can never have too much money.
Look, I'm not a therapist or psychologist or expert. I don't know what would drive a guy like Tyler Skaggs, who has the world at his palms, at his beck and call, to want to start popping pills, right? But I know a lot of people struggle with that addiction.
And maybe it's a problem you bring with you, and then you find a way to or someone else helps you facilitate.
Sure.
Yeah, I
mean, think about it. If you are somebody who needs to be in peak physical perfection your entire life, and you struggle with pain and soreness, and somebody comes to you and says, hey man, if you want to keep making $24 million a year, all you got to do is have one of these every 6 hours and you'll be fine. I got to tell you, it's really easy to sit on the ground floor not making $24 million a year and go, I would never take that drug. I would never do that. It's a little different situation when you got a check in front of you that cashes every other Friday for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the only way to keep it coming is for your arm not to hurt, right? So who knows what it was that drove him there. But if the Angels let this happen inside their own walls, it's sad. Now, we're going to come back to that later in the show. Item number 3, we are going to carry on over to the next segment, because coming up at 2:00 today, we may have an enormous announcement out of college football. We may have an enormous announcement out of college football, and we will tell you what we're looking at and what it would mean. Coming up next, I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
need to make sure
Stream's live again.
Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters and the game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Now's the time to book your team's fantasy football draft party at Twin Peaks. Contact your local Twin Peaks today to take advantage of the sweet draft party packs for the whole league. Visit our site at twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more info.
fantasy draft.
This report is sponsored by Macy's. This week at Macy's, get great deals on summer essentials like new shoes and sandals and in bath basics.
Somebody put Tobey Maguire's head on Darth Maul.
All right, so it looks like coming up at 2 o'clock today, we are going to get the announcement of the alliance of the Big Pac C, BIGPACC, B1GPACC. I'm trying to come up with a creative way to jam those
Big Pac
together.
C sounds like a rapper. It's as
Yo,
soon as
what
you
up,
said
Big Pac C?
in the house. Yep. I don't know.
B1GPACC. That's the B1GPACC.
How about the FRIENDS?
Ring. The announcement of that alliance is likely coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon, according to ESPN and some other groups. We are waiting to hear if that is official later on. All reports and indications are that the formal announcement will be coming up this afternoon, according to CBS Sports. The announcement will be between the three conferences. We'll focus on NCAA governance and college football scheduling, but the leagues also plan to get on the same page regarding future college football playoff expansion. Realignment amongst the three conferences has not been part of their discussions and will not be an issue addressed with the alliance as of this point in time. However, a significant portion of alliance conversations have been based on ensuring that athletes' academic success remains integral to the college sports experience. Press X to doubt.
This is like that stable in wrestling that's put together and you know it's not going to last.
Uh-huh.
While powerful, it will be impactful for a little while, and then suddenly they will turn on each other.
I don't know. See, here's the problem. I would agree with that, great one. I would agree with that, except for sitting directly across from them is a genuine faction that has power, right? Like this is the NWO Wolfpack, while Hogan, Nash, and Ramon sit across the ring dictating how WCW will go. Greg Sankey is Eric Bischoff in this analogy. So Bischoff, Hogan, Nash, and Ramon are all on one side of the ring. And on the other side, you've got, I guess, Sting and who was the one other person in WCW that wasn't in the NWO when that story ended. And that's what these groups are. That's what these guys are. And there's absolutely no guarantees here. But they have to come up with a faction to try. Because right now, as I told somebody yesterday afternoon, if the college football expansion discussion was to take place tomorrow, then the SEC ultimately will get to decide what it looks like. It is up to them and nobody else because they have all the power. Was it Kanye said no one man should have all that power? The SEC got all that power right now. The reality here is this faction that we're going to hear about officially coming up at 2:00. This faction was not created because these conferences are just so in love with each other. It was created because the SEC holds all the cards when it comes to what the next iteration of college football is going to look like, right? That's why this is happening. It's very simple. The belief here is that if these conferences, the Big Ten, the ACC, the Pac-12, can be on the same page, can come together and get their ideas down pat before that expansion talk takes place, or if they can slow it down some so the SEC doesn't have all the power, then they're fine. Now, a couple of questions. This is not a super conference, as Lonzo correctly pointed out a second ago. This is not a super conference. What did you call it before we came, when we were on the air, when we were off the air this morning, and one of your ORD buddies came over to ask what we thought about this? You described this arrangement as what, Lonzo?
Friends with benefits.
Bingo. Bingo. Also, it does make me LOL that Lonzo is familiar with the friends with benefits term. But that is correct.
I'm a man of the world.
He's a man of the
Yeah. I saw that movie. It wasn't that good, but you know.
Lonzo's rap name is BIGPACC. Big Pack. It is not a super conference. It is a friends with benefits arrangement, right? They're not committing to each other. They're not asking each other out to dates. But they're looking at each other and going, best I can get for right now, best you can get for right now. Meet me tonight, bring the Jaeger. That's what this is. All right.
Until the SEC's like, you know what, we got room for you over here.
True story.
Come on. You don't belong over there.
And there's a lot of us that think that's a realistic maybe probability down the road. This does not mean the end of the ACC, or excuse me, the NCAA. Does not mean the death of the NCAA, but it does mean the death of the NCAA as we know it. It does mean the death of the NCAA in its current role, function, and scope, no doubt about it. This is not anything more than the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 recognizing that it is in their best interest to make their own set of arrangements, to create their own media deal that combats what ESPN, the SEC, the SEC Net, the college football playoffs all have going. And one thing that does, for the record, one thing that does make this interesting, you know who owns the ACC network, right?
ESPN.
Correct. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. That's exactly right. In the very near future, I am thinking that these three conferences are going to have to Voltron themselves up against the SEC. And this is just step one. All right. This is just step one. Found an article earlier written by Pete Futak from College Football News. And he points out that one of the reasons that this is intriguing to him, he said, quote, take a look at where Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia are in the preseason rankings. And with Florida, LSU, and Texas not all that terribly far behind, it's not hard to figure out who wins in a 12-team expansion. Going forward, assume it all starts with the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 locking arms to demand A, equal payout of playoff money to all remaining Power 4 conferences, regardless of the number of teams in the CFP, which won't happen, or 2, a limit on the number of teams from one conference that can be in the college football playoff. Futak says, quote, you want to try taking over the world SEC? Fine, but there's a rock hard cap of 3 teams per conference allowed in the tournament. You want to fight that SEC? Fine, go it alone, do your regionalized thing, and see what kind of media deals you can generate with 2/3 of the country and most of the major media markets not caring about your product nearly as much as you think it does. Or the Power 3 Alliance decides to create a 40-team super league of awesome and tells I love Futak ending the sentence, quote, tells the SEC to choke on it, end quote. So what Futak is saying here, by the way, Texter says ESPN, everyone outside of the SEC is just scrambling about to find a way to stay relevant. In other words, they're stuck buddies. Good line. There's another phrase, Lonzo. It's similar to friends with benefits that rhymes with that. And he's saying that they're that, which is correct. That's exactly correct. That's what
you'll have to spell that out for me later.
Okay. No, I don't. Everybody watch the stream because in about 30 seconds, it's going to click to Lonzo what what stuck buddies means.
Guarantee you it won't.
30 to 45 seconds, Lonzo's going to get it, and you'll be able to watch his face on the stream. They are absolutely, you are absolutely correct, Texter.
All right. So when he said that, I was thinking, so what if this press conference today is to say that they have this alliance is it? We don't care about the SEC anymore. Football is over here. Let the SEC do their own thing. Let them have their own tournament. Let them have their own championship. It won't be the real championship. The real championship is with the rest of college football.
We ain't there yet. Ain't there yet, I don't think. I think you are at a spot now where the SEC doesn't want the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Pac-12 to go away. They just want to power in dictating how those college footballs will play, how those college football.
Well, if you're Alabama, what do you care about those other teams? Because you seem to win the championship every other year.
Because as Futak pointed out at the end of his article here, and I think to some degree correctly, the SEC wants to take over the world of college football, right? That we know for a fact. We can see that now. They want to take over the world of college football. And Futak says you have 2 options, which is you bring this new super conference. It's not, but it is. You bring these friends with benefits, stuck buddies to the table. You bring them to the table and you say, okay, we need to come up with a playoff system where we all benefit that you guys are happy with as well. Because the other option is down the road, those 3 conferences go, no, we're good, SEC. See you when you see you. And the SEC has a 16-team league that operates independently of the entire rest of the country. Because SEC fans have this belief that the SEC is college football. Everybody else is just playing whatever. The SEC is college football. That's their belief. And what Futak is saying here is happening, will happen, is that the rest of the country, the ACC, the Big Ten, what's left of the Big 12, the Pac-12, the Power 5, the non-Power 5 conferences, Notre Dame, etc., will go, you know what? We're just going to do our own thing. So you'll have SEC football and those 16 teams plus if anybody else joins. And then you'll have an entirely different college football league, Lonzo, that will be everybody else. Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Oregon, UCLA, USC, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, North Carolina. Everybody else. Oklahoma State. They will all play over there. That's Futek's thought. And I got to tell you, after thinking about it for a little while, I think he might be right. If this super not league can get to the table with the SEC and sway some negotiation, then college football will change, but it will still be college football as we know it. But if not, and they don't get that power, down the line, they might very well decide that they're just going to do their own thing, split it up. The Southeast will have the SEC, and everybody else will play in a whole different league. And we'll really get to find out at that point if the SEC is college football, or as Futak says, if SEC fans have genuinely overvalued how much the rest of the country likes and respects them. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. That announcement, by the way, coming up at 2 o'clock. If there is, I haven't seen anything about a press conference scheduled or anything like that. If they schedule something, if a press conference goes into play, we will try to pick that up for you, but we'll let you know when we get closer. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. My name is Rob Brown. He is Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
Christine Lisi. Patriots coach Bill Belichick today admitted quarterback Cam Newton's absence from the team facility because of a COVID protocol misunderstanding has created a big opportunity for rookie Mac Jones. Today, Jones again took the top reps at practice. Belichick has consistently said that Newton's the starter, but like with any player, he has to reestablish that standing during the preseason. Bears coach Matt Nagy reaffirmed Andy Dalton will open the season as their starting quarterback. He won't play in the preseason finale Saturday. Rookie Justin Fields will start, should play 2 quarters. Bills receivers Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis out the next 5 days of practice after being deemed close contacts of a team trainer who tested positive for COVID-19. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the trainers fully vaccinated. Both Beasley and Davis tested negative for the virus this morning, but per the NFL's COVID policy, they must miss practice anyways.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer. And give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847. Or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Priority Heating and Air. This feature, sponsored by Indeed. Is hiring becoming your second job? Quit the hassle and get on Indeed. You'll get great candidates fast with Instant Match. Just sponsor a post and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you were lied to in buying a timeshare and want out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks.
Stuck Buddies was very well done, Stacks. Very well done. Did you figure it out, by the way? The phrasing question. Friends with benefits.
Yeah, I didn't care after.
Stuck Buddies rhymes with the things that friends with benefits would do. That rhymes with stuck. All right. You sweet summer child.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454.
Fall is just around the corner. Lowe's has what you need to change with the season. Like our new lower prices on select bag mulch starting at $2.88 per bag. And American Gourmet 3-burner gas grills was $149, now $129. Fall together with Lowe's this Labor Day, in-store and online. Lowe's.
Prisma in the next break.
Prisma in the next break.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Improve your gas mileage by properly inflating tires and taking your car in for a tune-up. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Opinions wanted. Opinions.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. Be a part of the show at 844-477-3776, 844 GSP ESPN. So what do you think? What do you think the results of this announcement at 2 o'clock are going to be? If the announcement happens, remember, the reality here is that we don't know that this is happening for sure. We don't know this is happening for sure. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of smoke coming out about this. So we've seen a lot of people that have started to jump up and say, what does this mean? What does this mean? How does this work? Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel of yahoosports.com put out a piece earlier this morning where they talked a little bit about it. They said that the Alliance's goal is to have a shared vision for the future governance of college athletics, and that for now, the Alliance will mean the three leagues can, amongst other things, form a voting bloc that will blunt the growing influence of an expanded SEC. It also allows three leagues that consider themselves like-minded to gain voting power on issues as the NCAA's influence diminishes. They go on to write that discussions at the university presidential level have been significant and give the Alliance the potential to be much more meaningful. Those talks have included both regular season scheduling and how an expanded college football playoff would operate, according to sources speaking with Yahoo Sports. When asked how the Alliance would shape the scheduling, which seems to be And these schools are about to lose a lot of opportunities. But as I told one of the guys from WORD earlier this morning, there is one critical mistake that has been made when people talk about, well, how does this impact Furman and Wofford? How does it impact the Citadel and the College of Charleston? Guys, they don't care. They don't care. The ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12 are about to take likely two non-conference games away from their schedule. Those would be the games that Wofford would go to Tallahassee and play FSU. That Furman would go to Gainesville and play Florida. Those are about to go by the wayside for the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12. About to go by the wayside. And they don't care. It's just that simple. All right. We got that announcement coming up at 2 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, we are going to be joined right here on the Rob Brown Show, as we are every Tuesday, by Joe Giglio from BetQL. We'll talk a little bit about what we saw out of that game last night. We got college football coming up this weekend, y'all. Nebraska plays this weekend. Talk about that coming up as well. I'm Rob Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate. Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider of the Gamecocks, the official healthcare provider of the Tigers, and they can be the official healthcare provider for you and your family as well. And they are set up to do just that. How?
radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we may have to kill the stream off today because we are very clearly having some technical difficulties. And if it's going to keep kicking us in and out, we may just have to kill the stream. And
Are you back in?
I'm back in, yeah.
Okay, because I'm like,
You're not?
okay, who are you talking to? No, well, you'd have to send me
Okay.
another thing.
Oh, I need to reinvite you.
Unless I log in, which I still need to do. But.
It should be the same link, I think.
Is it? Well,
But I just sent it to you again anyway.
all right.
Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Are you ready for fall, but your house isn't? Luckily, Lowe's has
Out is back.
and the
Word.
prices you want to get your front yard, backyard, every yard ready to host this season. Gardening and grilling and leaf blowing starts at Lowe's.
You wanted the best? You've got the best. You're listening to the Star Award-winning Best Sports Talk Show.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio, wrapping up hour number 1. We're going to be hanging on to that topic for a while. We'll be coming back to that at the 2 o'clock hour. A joint news press conference from the 3 commissioners of the Super Alliance, the Pac-12, the B1G, and the ACC. If that is being carried by ESPN, we will click in and check out the sound on that.
Who talks first? And is the commissioner that talks first, is that the person really in charge?
It's a great question. It's a great question. Does somebody have to be the one guy in charge? I think that's kind of the whole point of this, right? Is to produce an allied front.
Someone has to be the front person, though. Someone's got to be the spokesperson, at least at the beginning. And the first person to talk, a lot of people will consider that the person in charge.
Somebody's got to be James Hetfield. Somebody's got to be the lead singer, huh? The band is a unit, but we know who Scott Stapp is, don't we?
My money's on the Big Ten.
I don't know, man.
Big Ten commissioner talks first.
I don't know that I don't throw out the ACC because they have that relationship with ESPN, right? I mean, here's the thing. You want to do this as we are a united allied front and we are here to throw our weight around a little bit, but you also don't want it to be like directly confrontational, right? You're not trying to pick a fight. You just want them to know that you have the strength to do it if you need to. I think that's where you come down on this. We'll talk more about it, but Joe Giglio joins us when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Go make sure I have him at the right time.
An Odyssey station.
Automotivemap.com presents the Sports Flash on ESPN Upstate. NFL preseason action Monday night. The Saints 23-21 winners over the Jaguars. 2 touchdown passes for Jameis Winston as he looks to succeed Drew Brees as the starter in New Orleans. Like day around baseball on Monday.
1:30, 1 o'clock. That's what I thought.
Snap that went out.
I'm just dumb.
The Yankees meanwhile have won 10 straight. The Cubs beat the Rockies 6-4. Rafael Ortega hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth to win it. Kansas City beat Houston 7-1 with Merrifield with 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Salvador Perez executed a career high with his 33rd home run. The Royals with wins in 7 days.
Mark Tremonti is actually a better singer than Stapp. Yeah, no, I know.
11 innings, the Red Sox doubled up the Rangers 8-4. Travis Shaw with a game-winning grand slam in the 11th. The Pirates 6-5 winners at home over the Diamondbacks. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. That's your Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
That player was either safe or out. Those are the only 2 options. If you watch the replay, he was clearly demonstrably, without a doubt, not safe because the first thing you have to
question is Miles Kennedy a better singer than Tremonti?
Which was the tag. You know, bang bang is when runner's foot hits base at very close to the exact same moment that ball hits glove or ball touches tag and gets out. That's bang bang. This was not bang bang because they missed the first bang. There was only one bang. Bang, he's out because he didn't do the first bang, which is to touch the frickin' dish. He didn't do it.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg.
Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate. ESPN Upstate, your exclusive home for Major League Baseball. Play-by-play of the biggest games from Major League Baseball's best. Including the playoffs and the World Series.
Live all deep, right? And you can kiss it goodbye.
This is ESPN Upstate.
Game on.
And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents me to win.
Yeah. Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
I'm going to do two segments in one segment here to open up the second hour. Joe Giglio joins us at 1:30, by the way. I got my time wrong because and I may or may not have said this on the air before, I am an idiot. So that's all me. Joe Giglio will be with us at 1:30. So I'm going to do two segments here in this hour of the show. One, because it makes me happy, and one, because it's going to make you mad. I'm not doing it because it's going to make you mad. In fact, I'm doing the one that makes me happy so that we can end this segment neutral, right? All right. So I know the answer is no, because the answer is also no for me, Lonzo. Have you watched Ted Lasso on Apple Plus yet?
That's Sudeikis.
Yes.
And it's a soccer thing.
Correct. But it's not. It's the setting is soccer, but it's not about
well,
soccer.
It's like,
soccer, but not
like
about
an
soccer.
American football coach coaching soccer.
Soccer team.
Yeah, why would I watch that?
Because it is from what I understand, and I have yet to watch it, it is A, hilarious, and B, incredibly heartwarming, is my understanding.
I'm okay with heartwarming, but it's very popular, which makes me go, it's probably not for
Lonzo
me.
doesn't like things that other people like, is what it comes down to. Anyway.
I like pizza.
Yeah, but I bet you're one of those I like white pizza.
What's that?
White pizza.
You mean white sauce on pizza?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But no, the sauce is what matters. I like
pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Shocking.
Why?
Shocking.
Why?
Most people tell me that I'm insane for liking pineapple on pizza. I am squarely team pineapple on pizza.
Domino's has a good Hawaiian pizza on a cracker crust, which is really thin crust.
When you say Hawaiian, are you talking like ham, barbecue sauce, pineapple?
No barbecue sauce,
No
but
barbecue.
ham and
Pineapple.
Yeah.
Marinara, like traditional.
No,
pizza
it's
sauce?
just regular pizza sauce. Yeah.
So pizza sauce, ham, pineapple. Yeah, that's what I'm going. Little chicken. Get you a little chicken.
I
on it.
will try anything on a pizza, just about.
Good save.
Yes.
Good save. Because you were about to start getting some weird deliveries while we're on the air moving forward.
Oh, I'm not. I'm down with weird deliveries while we're on the air.
A recent joke on the show Ted Lasso has caused some uproar from a pair of celebrities and a fifth-tier soccer team in the United Kingdom. In the latest episode of the Feel Good Apple TV series Ted Lasso, two actors, Ryan Reynolds. We know Ryan Reynolds. It's Free Guy / Deadpool.
You mean Green Lantern?
And no, I don't. I don't mean that.
That's Green Lantern.
I don't mean that at all.
Absolutely is Green Lantern.
And fellow actor Rob McElhenney. You know who Rob McElhenney is? He's on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Had a show on Apple Plus called Mythic Quest, which is about a video game design team that he's in charge of. It's pretty funny stuff.
I saw the previews for that. I've watched a couple episodes of Always Sunny, and the only funny part to me is Danny DeVito. But that's
Rob McElhenney is. Let me put it this way. Remember, we talked about the celebrities I look like, and I told you that I all the time get told I look like I get told I look like Fat Mac from Always Sunny. That's Rob McElhenney. That's me. That's Fat Mac, a.k.a. me.
It's a popular hairstyle. And
Dude, that looks like me.
No,
right?
it does not.
That looks like
it
me.
does not.
All right.
Will Wheaton is more of a
Anyway, the two of them own a Welsh club named Wrexham. Wrexham. Wrexham AFC. And I got to tell you, Lonzo, as soccer team names go, Wrexham is a pretty good one.
What's the mascot? Do they have mascots? It's soccer. I don't know.
Some of them do.
Okay.
Let's see. Wrexham AFC. Let's look up. They're like a 5th level team. All right. They're like a 5th level team. Anyway,
is that like AAA baseball? I mean, what would you compare or below that?
I would say probably below that.
Okay.
Here's their crest in their uniforms. Right there. There's Wrexham, owned by Free Guy and Fat Mac. Well, apparently within the light of the latest episode of Ted Lasso, one of the characters in Ted Lasso took a run at Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's ownership of Wrexham AFC. And Ryan Reynolds sent them officially from his desk a cease and desist order about it. First off, I would like to point out in the great minds think alike category, I'd like you to look at the logo that Ryan Reynolds uses on his desk work.
Yeah,
and ask you if that looks familiar for any reason.
It does look familiar for some strange
reason. This is when you need to join the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, because I get to share things with you that you can actually see.
I just want to say, if you're going to go at any celebrity, go at Ryan Reynolds, because he's going to clap back, and you're going to get a whole lot of play out of it, because he doesn't shy away from that.
No, he leans into it. He likes it. Ryan Reynolds sent a cease and desist that says, it has come to our attention that in a recent episode of Ted Lasso, our very real ownership of Wrexham AFC was called into question by an otherwise beloved character named Higgins. While we hold the incomparable Jeremy Swift in no ill regard and are honored to be mentioned on the platform that's brought us high-quality program ranging from Mythic Quest Season 1 to Mythic Quest Season 2, we must insist that you cease and desist from casting any doubt regarding our commitment to the club, the fans, and the entire Wrexham community. To avoid legal action, please send 2 large boxes of Ted Lasso's biscuits to the Racecourse Ground, Mold Road, Wrexham, et cetera, address, before the Wrexham AFC season begins Saturday, August 21st at 3 p.m. Believe, signed, Ryan Reynolds. I like this guy. Texture says, ESPN, Wrexham sounds like they're probably the butt of a lot of jokes. Yeah, Wrexham, I hardly know them. Another Sean says, team pineapple pizza here. Yeah, of course. Pineapple goes on pizza.
I don't know if you equate pizza to politics or something. I'm offended that you would think, just automatically believe that I wouldn't like pineapple on pizza.
No, now that I think about it, the more of the people that I know hate pineapple on pizza. I just go ahead and associate whatever is the least popular thing. That's Lonzo's favorite thing.
There's a good shot that that's a possibility. Yeah.
It's not a perfect correlation, right? Like it's not 10 out of 10 times.
No, because I will throw a wrench in there on occasion.
It's a solid 9.5 out of 10 times. Whatever the popular thing, Lonzo likes the other thing, right? CM Punk's the most over guy in the world right now. Lonzo's like, no, it's just because he was in Chicago. Texter, by the way, says,
I don't sound like that. I believe that my argument was steadfast. It was said with confidence and clear without any.
Texter says, ESPN, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. Sorry, I know I'm late. Just got back to G Vegas. Wanted to hear your thoughts. It was great. That's my thoughts. It was a great moment. It was a great wrestling moment. It was a great return.
And then the MMA world decided to go back to where he should have never left and then complain about where he came from. Everybody cheer.
Yeah, he complained about WWE, which he complained about WWE when he was at WWE.
Wow.
That is literally why it was a
I saw the time I'm here, and then people who don't like where they work, they're going to rally to my cause because they can feel me. Sounds like it worked to me.
Sounds like it worked to me.
For those who are workable.
All right, 844-477-3776. Now the story that is going to aggravate all of you. No, not all of you. That's not fair. Now the story that's going to aggravate a lot of you, specifically some of you. We have now had another school. This time it is the Louisiana State University, the latest in line, to announce that if you want to attend a game, if you want to attend a football, what's wrong with me?
If you want to attend a
game,
well, see, it worked perfectly if you use that accent.
It really did, didn't it?
Yes.
It really did. Should you elect to attend a football game, a sporting event at the Louisiana State University, you are now required to provide either proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to entry. Tiger Stadium announced their COVID-19 protocols yesterday and said that, quote, as the flagship institution of the state of Louisiana, our foremost responsibility is to ensure the safety of our students, supporters, and community. While we are aware of the diverse perspective across the nation regarding masks and vaccinations, we must take all reasonable measures to protect our campus and community, not only on game days, but long after guests, have left Tiger Stadium. The current threat to our lives, our health, and to our medical systems due to COVID-19 is overburdening our hospitals, and we must do our part to stop the spread. To gain entry to the Tiger Stadium, guests 12 and older must show proof of at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccination that has received full approval and or emergency use authorization from the FDA or the WHO, a vaccination card, a photo or photocopy of a vaccination card, or verified digital proof of vaccination will be accepted. Those who have not yet received a dose of COVID-19 vaccine must present digital or hard copy proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test taken within 72 hours of kickoff prior to entering the stadium. Guests younger than 12 will not need to present negative tests. Masks will be encouraged for children younger than 5 and required for children ages 5 to 11, end quote.
Also known as, we know when no one really comes to see our game, so we're going to put requirements on it so it looks like we're compliant and we're down with everything. And so then when we have less people there, it will be able to say it's because we required that, but no one actually comes to our games. So,
you don't watch LSU
if
games
you
without telling me you don't watch LSU
if
games.
you would like to buy food and water, please let me see your papers. If you would like to drive on our roads, let me see your papers. If you would like to work, let me see your papers. If you would like to live, let me see your papers. If we can do this at a football game, the next thing, it's going to be at a grocery store. After that, it's going to be out on the roads. In other words, if you don't comply, you will die. But if that's what you're into.
God, that got dark real fast. Wow. The dystopian nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. The dystopian nightmare from Lonzo. Have you started writing your science fiction book?
All I will say is there are a lot of prepper services out there. Go ahead and stock up on your prepping food and things and stuff like that, because you're probably going to need it.
I got to tell you, I've been listening to those prepper commercials for about...
Don't you wonder if the food's any good? I mean, I don't know.
Priority.
I'm very curious if the food's any good.
Priority is I've always wondered, are you selling me actually decent food, or is this just like...
I've heard a couple...
What would be more disappointing than buying that, an actual apocalypse happening, and then you open your first MRE and it's just garbage?
Yeah, well...
Would that be the most disappointing
Well,
thing?
it would... At the same time, he'd still live a little bit longer, but I've talked to a couple people who say it's good. They've never let me sample it, though, because
it's theirs, damn it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's for their survival, not mine, but I would like to try some of that food because it might be pretty good.
Second, Texter says, Lonzo just took the slippery slope to a whole new level. I agree with you, Texter. He absolutely did. He went slippery slope into a dystopian,
Dark Chosen
Lovecraftian
has given
nightmare.
me the dystopian nightmare as my wrestling name.
That's actually solid.
I like that.
I don't hate that.
Dress
I don't
in-
hate that at all.
How would I dress in black?
Just all
I don't
black?
know. Yeah.
It's all black.
Have to have some kind of face paint though.
He said that escalated quickly. Yeah, it really did. It really did. Texas says, I am vaccinated. I cannot figure out for the life of me why the vaccinated give a bleep what the unvaccinated do. Okay. A lot of reasons. I'm going to say this respectfully. If you want to tweet me or something, I'm not going to go on the air with this because I've done it before. And I feel like I'm at the point now. I didn't bring this conversation up to get into an argument about you should go get vaccinated. That's not why I brought it up. I brought it up so you know. Because LSU has done this now. New Orleans, the Saints have done this. Now that's the city mandate, whereas LSU is a school mandate. And I promise you, these will be the far from the last two football teams that you will be required to be vaccinated. And here's the thing. I'd like to point out that they are not requiring you to get vaccinated to come to the game. They're not requiring you be vaccinated to go to the game. You can get the test within 72 hours of kickoff. And if you don't have COVID, according to PCR test, you can go to the game. They're not mandated. This is the thing I saw on Twitter all day yesterday. Why are you mandated? Nobody's mandated.
We've had this conversation before. So who is going to be at the gates checking these? How long is the line going to be? How long is it going to take for them to check? And will there be forged papers because people won't really want to see the football game? And how will these experts that are at the gates, how will they be able to spot said forgeries? I'm just curious. If you think it's tough to get into a football game now, wait till they try to enforce this and you're stuck taking an hour to get in the game. So are they going to postpone the game itself till everybody gets in? Or are you going to miss the entire first half because you're standing in line with someone who's meticulous at checking your papers?
I mean, I think all of this is – I think all of those questions are questions that are going to have to be asked before football season gets here in 2 weeks.
I was also told to dress like Orwell, but I think I have to put on some weight.
Texas says Lonzo went down a Dabo's World-esque slippery slope there. Another Texas says lines would be a lot faster if you just had your Vax card implanted. Just get the chip.
Put it either in your forehead or on your hand for convenience.
Anyway, they're not even.
You brought it. Yeah, I mean,
I know it's coming. Just look. I brought it up not to have the fight, not to have the debate, because again, I feel like we're kind of getting to a
what was I
point.
saying? You called down the thunder.
Don't be call down the thunder. Don't be surprised when you get the lightning, huh? Let me put it here, and then we'll take a break. Say this, and we'll jump out. You good over there?
Was jumping out.
Oh, got you. Okay.
We are on stream too. You know, I try to be a little entertaining
Right.
over here.
Put it this way. You are not mandated. No one is mandating you get the vaccination to go to a football game. You can get the negative test 72 hours before. No one is mandating it. How will they go about checking vaccination cards? I don't know. I'm interested, especially when I read the technical side there, and they say we will take photocopies or photos of your card. Now I have mine. Mine stays in my car. I carry mine around with me because I don't know if or when I'll need it. I don't know how they'll check. I don't know how they'll be able to operate to determine, because you know as much as anybody else does that there are going to be people who, despite the fact that you can just get a negative test in 10 minutes and be done with the whole thing, would still rather fake a vaccination card to go.
Colleges, there are new stories out there. We've covered it on WRD. There's been a few colleges who students have been in trouble for having fake vaccination papers. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah. Now, I'll bet you at some point You know, is in South Carolina, is faking an ID a crime in South Carolina? Is having a fake ID a crime in South Carolina?
I'm not a crime expert, but I'm sure someone listening is.
Anybody out there?
We got any lawyers
We got any
or police officers not listening?
Under South Carolina law, the possession of a fake ID card and license results in a misdemeanor offense. I would bet that will eventually extend to that as well. You get caught using a fake card, it's a misdemeanor. We'll see. I don't know how it's going to work out. But they ain't the first and they won't be the last. Texture says ESPN, get the vaccine, a.k.a. the mark of the beast. Oh, God.
That's exactly what a Satanist would do. Laugh at that.
Wait. Can I do it again?
You need more bass. You need more bass in your maniacal. Little more guttural.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it makes it sound.
Let me activate my vaccine chip here. Quick break. We're back. Quick break. And we're back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. You asked for me to do that.
I did.
Non-specific. Courtney just texted me to just stop. Go get me a water.
It's the final week of NFL preseason action. Last night, New Orleans with a 23-21 win over Jacksonville. Jameis Winston 9 of 10 passing, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns for the Saints. Taysom Hill 11-20 passing, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence 14 of 23 passing for 113 yards for the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew 13 of 21 for 149.
It's a dystopian nightmare. There is. Yeah, well, if I was a dystopian nightmare, I probably would wear dystopian nightwear. But anyway, the dystopian nightmare is going to step to the window and look for the oncoming apocalypse.
Go out there and handle business.
Research 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Dad, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works.
That Defoe laugh in the Spider-Man trailer, so good. So good.
Still trying to wrap my head around white pizza. I've just never heard it sound like this.
Seriously?
Yes.
I hate it. It's awful.
I've had like a weenie pizza before. It's interesting.
I dated a girl once that preferred white pizza, and it was miserable. Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts has passed away.
Well, I've got it Twitter.
You can still bring it up on Twitter.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters and the game is high.
You ever had chocolate pizza before?
Chocolate pizza. No.
It's pretty good.
Well, I say that.
There used to be a place called Gaddy Town, which is down the road.
Okay.
And they actually, Gaddytown, and they had several different rooms in there, but it was buffet pizza, and they had a bunch of different kinds of pizza, barbecue pizza, chocolate pizza, stuff like that. They also had a carousel in there, and so before Dave and Buster's, this is a long time ago. It was kind of that way, but for younger kids, we used to go there and have birthday parties and stuff for the kids. But they had chocolate pizza. It was really good. It was a pizza crust with, I think, confectionery sugar, and it had chocolate on top of it, more like a chocolate sauce. No toppings, though.
Yeah.
We're here to take over.
We got a short segment here because coming up in the next segment, we're going to be joined by Joe Giglio of BetQL. So instead, we'll tell you this. Charlie Watts, the drummer of the Rolling Stones, has passed away, 80 years of age, one of the most iconic drummers of all time. And there's a story going around that was in one of the Rolling Stones autobiographies from years ago. And the story goes that a number of years ago, the Stones were on tour and they were in a hotel one night, and a very intoxicated Mick Jagger phoned Charlie Watts' hotel room at like 3 a.m. and said, "Where's my drummer?" And the story goes that Watts, knowing that his night was over, his night of rest was over, got up, shaved, put on a suit, put on a tie, put on his dress shoes, descended the stairs, walked up to Mick Jagger, and Lonzo punched him square in the face and said, "Don't ever call me your drummer again. You're my blanking singer. Do you understand?" End of story.
And he stayed in the band.
From what I understand, it was kind of what we in the South call a come to Jesus moment for old Mick. And Charlie was described as the rudder of the wayward ship that was the Rolling Stones. He was the voice of reason. He was the one that kept them from killing each other, literally and metaphorically. But the Stones to walk up to Mick Jagger and say, "You are my singer, not the other way around." Absolute Stones, man.
So you and I both have been in bands. Could you picture your drummer doing that to your lead singer?
Yes, in my band, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Our drummer has a bit of an attitude. He's one of the nicest.
He's a drummer. He's a drummer.
You're going to get to meet him, though, because he's coming up here in October.
Cool.
You're going to get to meet the drummer, Jeremy. Anyway, he's absolutely, and he's a very, like, when he gets something in his head that has a creative direction he wants to follow, he won't take no crap from nobody, including his best friend. So, yes, I could see that. Most bands, no, because let's be real. Drummers are replaceable, all right? And as a rhythm guitarist, I am the most replaceable person in the band musically. Drummers are replaceable. In fact, as we've made the joke to our drummer many times, we can replace you with a machine and no one would ever know.
That's pretty mean.
It is mean, and it's also true, all right? So to be the drummer that can punch Mick Jagger in the face and say, "I am not your drummer, you are my singer," and get away with it.
If Mick was drunk at the time, he probably had no idea what happened.
That might be true. I'll just take a break. Joe Giglio from BetQL joins us when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
So if you ever saw something on a pizza and you said, "Nope,"
This Thursday will be at 903 Anderson Road
Because I can't think of anything.
I'm sure I have. Like, I've seen, like,
I'm pretty much Shaggy, man. It's, put it on pizza. I'm down. Mac and cheese pizza actually sounds kind of good as long as it doesn't make it soggy. Well, Keegan just threw that up. Yeah, so as long as it's not soggy, because then it's no longer pizza. If the crust holds up, yeah. What kind of mac and cheese, though? We talking really big noodles or small noodles?
No, small noodles. There was a. Do you guys have CC's Pizza here?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay. There's a CC's.
There might be one down the road.
What?
There might be one down the road on Woodruff.
There was a CC's next to the movie theater that I used to go to in Fort Walton. And when you went to the movie, like, we would always go to CC's either before or after the movie, and they made a pretty solid microwave pizza.
Yeah, apparently there's one on Haywood Road. So close to the wall.
I didn't catch the stand around the electric strike.
Me either. It'd be cool to have a job where you're just breaking down trailers all day.
I mean, we kind of do.
Yeah,
What's in your wallet? Savings and available coupons vary.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward, no matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field. Movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the
Hi, speak to Joe, please.
Movement has the unique ability.
Hey, Joe, this is Lonzo, ESPN Upstate. Rob Brown set up an interview with you.
Better tomorrow. Movement
Okay,
can even
hang on.
together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move,
I have to say it, even if they're ready for the call, because I don't know what else to say. So, I mean, I put it in my mind. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, it was.
Wait.
That was pretty bad, man.
That was super not good, man.
It's just like, why did they do that to
He
him?
was dressed like a BDSM shredder, is what he looked like.
They could have done better. I mean, the mask, if you're going to do that, you could make a better mask.
For those of you who don't know what we're laughing at, the debut of Karrion Kross last night, and then immediately what everybody on Twitter thought of, and it's perfect. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate, awaiting that 2:00 press conference featuring the commissioners of the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the Atlantic Coast Conference, which I think, depending on what they have to say today and what this alliance ends up looking like, today may very well go down as almost as big of a day as the day we found out that Texas and Oklahoma were joining the SEC. We're going to talk more about that coming up later on in the show. But now we go to the phone line. And every single Tuesday through the NFL season, we are going to be joined by BetQL Daily and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider Joe Giglio. Insider calls presented by BetQL. Get access to data and insights the sports books don't want you to see. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Joe, my man, welcome back, buddy. Good to have you. How's life, partner?
Oh, I'm doing great. Happy to be with you today. What's going on?
Oh, just another day in paradise, man. Just another day in paradise. We obviously stayed up late last night to watch a little Jacksonville, New Orleans preseason. And I had some thoughts about both teams I want to run by you real quick, as we are now, 2.5 weeks away from week one. Number one, I know the Jags aren't good. I know that the Jags were a 1-15 team last year. There's a reason the Jags have Trevor Lawrence. There's a reason that they had to rebuild inside out entirely. Joe Giglio, if I bet, I don't even know what the over-under win total is right now. It might be 1.5 for the Jags coming into this year. I'm leaning under on Jacksonville. Did you see anything last night that made you think the Jags are going to be a team that you can win money betting for this year?
Not last night. No, I'd be lying if I said last night was a step in the right direction. So I do think Jacksonville could surprise people this year for this reason. I mean, we look at them for what they were last year, and they won one game, and they were a team that was awful. We're worst team in the NFL. That's why, like you said, they got the number one overall pick. But I actually think when healthy, and then health right now is an issue for them. DJ Chark injured, Travis Etienne is injured. Etienne, he went out last night. So they're not where they need to be with some of those skill players. But I think there's more talent there than what they showed last. I mean, they tanked. I mean, they lost on purpose in the last season. They were starting Jake Luton, whoever the heck that is, over Gardner Minshew, with the express purpose late in the season of losing to get Trevor Lawrence. So I think as the season goes along, especially when you consider their division, I don't know if there's a 10-team win in that division. Tennessee, perhaps. I don't think the Colts are going to be great with Carson Wentz trying to come off another injury. And we know the Texans are a tire fire, so I think there's some wins there within their own division. I would not advise taking this team to go to Super Bowl or make a deep run, but I do think they will be much better as the year goes on than what we saw last year.
So I'm watching, and first off, I don't think, and I could be wrong here, I don't think Urban Meyer knew what he was getting himself into, right? I think Herb's got such an inflated sense of confidence in himself. I think he thought, all right, I've got this generational talent in Trevor Lawrence. I've got the guy that was his running back and the leading rusher in ACC history. I think Herb jumped in a little bit over his head. Jacksonville is a team that I am going to check lines for every single week, Joe, because I just look at them as a team that has maybe the steepest learning curve of any NFL team in recent memory.
Yeah, it's significant. And this really, it wouldn't surprise. Here's the only thing I'm sure of the Urban Meyer era in Jacksonville. It won't be long. This will not be a 10-year run. I doubt it's even a 5-year run. This just strikes me as 2 or 3 years, and Urban Meyer is out. And I can see it going one of two ways. I'll bring up Chip Kelly when he was in Philadelphia. Started off actually, they were 1-3, and then they rallied the second half of the season. They made the playoff in his first year, and then from there, it got progressively worse until the league caught up. Players didn't like him. He left after 3 years. He didn't even finish 3 years, actually. Got fired in week 17 of the final season. That's one potential way that could go. The other way is the Nick Saban route, where, by the end of the year and the next year, he's like, listen, this is not for me. I'm going back to college football. So the only thing I'm sure of, and I'm with you on, the Urban Meyer adventure in Jacksonville, it probably is more than anticipated. I don't think it's going to last long. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl with the Jaguars. But I do think there will be high moments of drama, whether it's his resignation, whether it's a quick start and then they flame out. We'll be watching because it's Urban Meyer and it's interesting, but I don't think it's a long-lasting thing.
We are talking with Joe Giglio. He is an insider and host of BetQL Daily on the BetQL Network. Over on the other side of the football, you had the New Orleans Saints last night. I mean, look, the NFC South is Tom Brady's division. We know that. Everybody's looking up and trying to catch the Bucs. Jameis Winston last night, and he had some help from Marcus Callaway, former Tennessee man, with a couple of spectacular catches. But Jameis last night connected on every pass with the exception of one, showed a little bit. I mean, we know Jameis can throw 30 touchdowns in a year. We've seen it. Showed a little bit of why there's still some optimism around Jameis Winston. Am I nuts to think that an over-under of 7.5 is a realistic over for the New Orleans Saints?
You're not nuts. No, I don't think you are. I wouldn't go much over that, though. I generally don't think the Saints are headed towards a great season. I think the preseason, in some ways, it fools us. I think especially more now than ever because the joint practices for a lot of these teams are really where the real work gets done. I take far less out of the preseason than I ever used to in terms of what it actually means when the regular season rolls around. I know Jameis looked pretty good last night. I mean, Jameis has moments. He's always had moments where he's looked good. I mean, there's a reason this guy threw for 5,000 yards. There's a reason why he can throw for 30 touchdowns. The problem with Jameis Winston is not can he play, can he perform, can he put up numbers? We know he can. It's will he give the ball to the other team. And that's the one thing Drew Brees, for as much as he declined, I mean, it's so obvious his physical decline the last couple of years. The one thing that was just real about him was he didn't throw the ball over. He didn't make mistakes. So that's what I worry about with the Saints. Not so much can Jameis put up points, not can he move the ball. It's will he give the ball away. And I don't think the Saints are built anymore to withstand that. I mean, they're not the same team they were a couple of years ago. I think over at the number you mentioned is fair, but I don't think the Saints are going back to the playoffs.
We are talking with Joe Giglio of BetQL here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Flip over to Carolina. We had a texter on our Ingles Market text line just a second ago, Joe, that said he said, Rob, put a paycheck on the Panthers week 1 over the Jets. And, I mean, I'm back and forth, right? Like, the Jets aren't a good football team, but they've got a new coach. We really still – I don't think, Joe, we really know – who and what Zach Wilson is going to be. I have seen reports that he is starting to really figure out how to put it together. And I've seen reports that, the Jets are kind of holding him back because they just don't trust him yet. Jets-Panthers week 1 is a real interesting line. I assume the Panthers are going to come in probably a low favorite on that one. How do you feel about the Carolina Panthers opening with the Jets?
Yeah, well, the first thing I feel is that the NFL executives did this right, because there's some interest here with the new coach, with the Sam Darnold revenge game. You put this game in week 11, it probably gets swallowed up. Right? No one's talking about it. No one really cares. There's a chance neither of these teams will be playoff teams this year. Actually, probably more than likely a chance. So it would get swallowed up in week 10 or 11. Week 1, though, that's an interesting matchup, right? You get Zach Wilson's first game. You get Darnold against the Jets. And you mentioned the line. It's interesting how this thing has moved. So it opened up, at least a few weeks ago when I first saw the week 1 line, Panthers -3. It has moved to Panthers -4.5. It's moving way towards Carolina. I think the injury to Carl Lawson, the big-ticket defensive end signing by the Jets, really it made a dent here. It's significant. He's their best pass rusher, probably the best pass rusher the Jets have had since the days of John Abraham, back 15 years ago. So it's a big blow to the Jets. I think it means great things to the Panthers in this game. I would lean Panthers. I'd like them better at -3 than -4.5, but I mean, you think about this matchup here, I think the better team is Carolina. The question is, how good is Wilson right away? I don't know the answer to that, but he doesn't look the part. I mean, he's got a good, strong arm. He's been accurate. The question, he gets swallowed up by the Jets. I mean, the Jets have never drafted a successful quarterback, Joe Namath. It's not just they picked the wrong guys. It's like something about the Jets swallows these kids alive. We'll see if Wilson can overcome it, but I do lean Carolina in that game.
With that being said, the Jets missing. I mean, the Panthers have the Jets cast off quarterback in Sam Darnold, a guy that was under Adam Gase. And there's two thoughts, right? One is that Adam Gase ruined Sam Darnold, and the other is that Sam Darnold's just not that good. The Panthers really rolled the dice on Sam Darnold. If he doesn't work out, Joe, I think the Panthers Matt Rule may be in trouble, considering that would be back-to-back quarterbacks that he just outright missed on. And they passed on Justin Fields, who has looked pretty solid in Chicago. If you follow that line of logic, do you trust Sam Darnold to hit the over for the Panthers this year?
I don't trust Sam Darnold. I understand the Adam Gase situation is real. We saw what happened to Ryan Tannehill escaped Adam Gase football prison. He got to Tennessee and he emerged and became the player that the Dolphins obviously thought he could be when they drafted him in the first round. Could something happen similarly with Darnold? It could. I mean, I think he'll be better with Joe Brady, better with the Panthers than he was with Adam Gase and the Jets. But you look at Sam Darnold's career in the NFL, it's very rare to find a quarterback that's been as bad as he's been, for the beginning of his career, get another chance with a team that not just brings him in, but basically gives him the keys for a season. It's pretty rare. I mean, he's been bad. I mean, he's just been a bad NFL quarterback since he left USC. There's still talent there. He's still young because he came into the draft so early. I'll say this about the Panthers' future at the position. I think by passing on Fields and Mac Jones with the number 8 pick in the draft, they really have created there's two avenues for the Panthers. Darnold figures it out. That's avenue number 1. But I think the more likely avenue is they're going to be front and center a year from now in the sweepstakes to land the next veteran quarterback that it wants out, whether that be Aaron Rodgers, whether that be Deshaun Watson, pending a lot of legal situations, whether it be Russell Wilson. I think their next play is, we got to stop taking a chance on these Darnolds and Bridgewaters. We got to get the real thing. I think a year from now, they probably have another quarterback.
Joe Giglio is an insider for BetQL and the host of BetQL Daily and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, joining us here every Tuesday on the Rob Brown Show. Real quick, Joe, and then we'll cut you loose. We are flipping this weekend. We got college football this weekend, man. We got live college football coming up this weekend. Nebraska is going to be on the football field for the first time this week. Are there any lines in college football to get us started off on the right foot? Anything this weekend that jumped out to you initially?
Yeah, well, the Illinois-Nebraska game you mentioned, that line moved. It was about double digits, and it moved to about 7. They favored Nebraska, but they were favored by more. The game is in Illinois. Last year, Illinois won by double digits in Nebraska, despite being a double-digit underdog. I think just the line moving tells you that matchup's not as lopsided as people think it is, and I would not be surprised at all if Illinois either covered or won that outright. So that's the first one, and I'll just be watching the UCLA-Hawaii game because there'll be points in that game. Then the over-under's upper 60s, going to be close to 70 now. Chip Kelly has not had a very successful run at UCLA, but last year his offense really started to emerge, averaging 450 or so yards a game, 35 points. UCLA will score, and it's kind of a tune-up game for them because next week they play LSU. So I'll be watching those on Saturday.
He is Joe Giglio, who joins us here on the Rob Brown Show every Tuesday at 1:30 to break down some of the lines and futures that we like coming up. He is the host of BetQL Daily and an Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. Joe, my man, appreciate it greatly, partner. We will talk to you in a week, man. And next week, we're just a little bit closer to week 1 of college football, partner.
Can't wait. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
You got it. That's Joe Giglio. Host of BetQL and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. Be sure to listen to the BetQL Daily Podcast for more of Joe's analysis. Just search BetQL wherever you find your podcast. I got plenty more for you coming up when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo, and this is ESPN Upstate.
no pump, and get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299. All on America's best networks. 5G coverage. 5G
Tostitos cheeseburger nachos. I would go for that.
I think I've had it before. I believe I have.
This report is sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. The Mega Millions jackpot for Tuesday is $200.
So they did it. Check out Hendrick's email when you get a chance. You don't have a chance right now.
We're trophy hosts. Sorry, trophy.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio, wrapping up hour and new and those. Thanks to Joe Giglio of BetQL for joining us every Tuesday at 1:30 to talk some lines and futures that we like. We will continue to do that moving forward. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN. Text us at 71307, 71307 on the Ingles Market text line. Text says, if you have the first pick in your fantasy draft, who do you grab? Is CMC a no-brainer? No, he is not a no-brainer. He is not a no-brainer at all. I mean, if you're in a PPR, then I'd say that he probably is the guy. If you are not in a PPR league, I'm curious, right? Because here's what I face. I would prefer Christian McCaffrey with two things. Number one, if he'd have been fully healthy last year, right? Now, I might be the only one, but I am concerned about his ability to stay healthy for a full year. The second thing I'm concerned about is I got to see what Sam Darnold does, right? I got to see what Sam Darnold does. You're going to have defenses that really stack the blocks. I think he is a heavy favorite for number one. I think, as I mentioned a number of times, by the way, most of the mock drafts I've looked at, go like run CMC right out the gate. I saw a couple that had Derrick Henry go first. I saw a couple that had Dalvin Cook go first. I saw one or two that had Alvin Kamara go first. I don't think you're hurting with CMC. You're taking a gamble, though. You're gambling, A, he's going to stay healthy all season long, A. And B, you're taking the gamble that Sam Darnold's going to be able to move the football around the field. Because if you get to the point where defenses can throw 7 in the box because Sam Darnold, you can't hit a wide receiver that's covered up one-on-one, then all of a sudden half of CMC's versatility goes away, right? Like, he's scary dangerous when you got a quarterback that can open up the field a little bit because CMC can go get the ball anywhere on the field and line up anywhere on the field. But it's a gamble. Listen, if you pick him at number one, you're not wrong. Okay? You're not wrong. But like I said, you're taking a risk. I think Dalvin Cook is interesting for me. He's a little bit more of a traditional runner. I think Alvin Kamara is right there in that same spot. But no, I think if you go CMC, it's not the wrong pick, right? It's not the wrong pick. Just make sure you're willing to take that gamble. That's my only thing. Make sure you're willing to take that gamble. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Jimmy wants to talk a little bit about CMC, and I'm assuming a little bit of fantasy. Jimmy, welcome back to the show, man. Great to have you.
Hey, I'm glad to talk to y'all again. It's been a while. So the reason I was calling CMC, I think that it's going to help take some of the hits off of him by having Chuba Hubbard. I'm guessing they're going to keep him. He looked really good in preseason. So ever since he got drafted by the Panthers, I've said he's not a running back and take a hit on every down. So that'll leave it for him to go out for some pass plays. So I think Christian McCaffrey's going to stay healthy and have a great year.
Yeah, I actually like that addition. We had a couple of draft experts on before the draft happened, and when they selected Hubbard, I thought that's a really good Thunder Lightning connection, right? To put him the bowling ball style next to CMC, I think it's similar to what Latavius Murray accomplishes in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. It's like when Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush were together. To use another example that I'm very familiar with, it gives you that opportunity. And especially if you can put them both in at the same time, right? Let it be a little versatile. Let them make a decision about how exactly to defend CMC. I do think it helps unless Matt Rule starts to take touches away from Christian McCaffrey. But as Rashad Beard, our Panthers expert, has said a number of times, if CMC is touching the ball 30 times a game, it's because the Panthers are a bad football team. As a fantasy owner of CMC, you might want the Panthers to be bad so he gets more touches.
Well, I think he's going to catch more passes out of the backfield with Darnold at quarterback. And I just think it's going to open things up a lot more having Hubbard back there with him. And I'm just assuming they're going to keep him. They're not going to cut him. As I said, he looked too good in preseason.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to cut him at all. Jimmy, I appreciate that phone call. Great to have you on board, partner. 1 hour left. When we come back, we will be looking for that announcement from ESPN. We'll let you know if it comes and what they say next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
It was an amazing catch.
Both of them were. Did you see the second one?
Yeah, I saw the second one too. I stopped watching in the third quarter. Well, bought replacement shelves and put them together and put them up. And it's like, no, I've seen all I need to see.
You did call it. Eshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I don't know why you're on that list, and I don't know that you necessarily need to be on the list, but I send it to you anyway.
No, it's...
Yeah. It's going to affect me because I'm going to have to go through and remove everything that says, yeah. That's fine. I wonder if they're going to announce why Zubin's no longer there. Of course, we are talking about this on stream. I don't know if it's, I probably shouldn't have said that.
NFL preseason, the Saints beat the Jaguars 23-21. Jameis Winston, 9 of 10 passing for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Download the free Score app. Lightning Fast update.
I like how other things on that clock are open. Like they're not saying who's replacing other things. It's definitely not the slot you want because that's where so many local shows are.
Yep.
So if one of us hit that 7-10 split when we're there on Thursday nights, we got to go crazy.
The ginger assassin. As Keegan just said, I need those guys narrating my life. I need just anytime I do anything, I need that guy to.
All right, I think I've changed my mind. I think if I do get my own bowling ball, I'm writing on it. It's going to be a dystopian nightmare bowling ball. What should I put on my dystopian nightmare bowling ball? I'm not putting 3 numbers on there. Just putting that out there. That's not going on there.
I'm not putting 3 numbers on there.
There's 3 numbers that, come between 5 and 7.
I gotcha. Hey, if you're going to roll out there as the dystopian nightmare, you have to commit to that role, man. You can't be a half-ass heel.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to go biblical with it. You can go secular. I could just have I don't know.
Like a steampunk theme?
Ooh. No, I'd be down with that as long as but I'd have to wear steampunk glasses while bowling. Well, I think I could pull it off. I told you I'm thinking about dressing up every time anyway, over the bowling shirts. So I don't think I'll stand out any other way. You and I should just be face painted wrestlers every week.
Struggle's real, buddy. Struggle's real. Welcome back to Rob Brown Shows on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello! Upstate South Carolina. 2 o'clock hour is here. And as we have mentioned, the press conference is underway. I actually am. We're not going to be able to carry the sound, Lonzo, because it looks like it's a digital presser. And I probably have the invite to it over in my office computer, but I don't have access to it here. Plus, if it looks like it's a Zoom call, I thought it was going to be like a televised news conference. And it looks like it's just a Zoom call.
They all have equal size panels, though.
They all have equal size.
I'm disappointed.
The background is a basic blue digital background with the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 logos all on it. You have the conference commissioners from all three. So what I will tell you is that when we are off the air today, I will go pull up the audio from that conference commissioners I guess it's a press conference. Yeah. I guess it's still a press conference.
If it was a Zoom, it would be private. So it's not private. The fact that you can access it without a code means it's a press
Well,
conference.
I don't know that you can or can't. That was a screenshot that somebody put up on Twitter.
Doesn't a press conference, doesn't press have to be there? That kind of goes along
Fair.
with the, so
Fair.
it's a conference of some type.
By the way, I want to shout out Dylan Crow. Dylan heard about the show, Lonzo. I was talking the other day with our buddy Brandon Walker from Barstool, and he gave some love to the show for winning the award on his podcast. And a couple of listeners have now joined up on us because they heard about the show from that. So welcome to the Rob Brown Nation, my man.
Welcome to the dystopian nightmare.
Welcome to
Good
the
to have you
dystopian
here.
nightmare. All right, Nicole Arbach, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite college football people. By the way, of course, Nicole is a senior writer for The Athletic. Nicole, who, by the way, you want to talk about inconvenient? She finally got, this is something that would happen to me, Lonzo. She got the opportunity to go on the college football playoff show last year and talk about it. And as she is getting asked a question on ESPN,
that's
computer, as she is live sending the video back, her computer puts up a notice screen that goes right over her face while she's on the ESPN big stage.
At least she wasn't a kitty cat.
True story, Your Honor. I am not a kitty cat. So anyway, Nicole Arbach has put out a clip of the press release from the ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12. They have put their logo out already. They are calling it a, quote, historic alliance.
I guess they went in alphabetical order.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12. All right, here's the press release, all right? This is the press release. This is off of the B1G website, all right? The press release says, and I quote, 41 world-class institutions across 3 autonomy 5 conferences to collaborate on the future evolution of college athletics and an interconference scheduling alliance. The press release is bylined out of Greensboro, North Carolina, and Rosemont, Illinois, and San Francisco, California. It says, quote, the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 today announced an historic alliance that will bring 41 world-class institutions together on a collaborative approach surrounding the future evolution of college athletics and scheduling. The alliance, which was unanimously supported by the presidents, chancellors, and athletic directors at all 41 institutions, will be guided in all cases by a commitment to and prioritization of supporting student athletes' well-being, academic and athletic opportunities, experiences, and diverse educational programming. The 3 conferences are grounded in their support of broad-based athletic programs, the collegiate model, and opportunities for student athletes as part of the educational missions of the institutions. The three conferences remain competitors in every sense, but are committed to collaborating and providing thought leadership on various opportunities and challenges facing college athletes, including student-athlete mental and physical health, safety, wellness, and support, strong academic experience and support, diversity, equity, and inclusion, social justice, gender equity, future structure of the NCAA, federal legislative efforts, and postseason championships and future formats. The alliance includes a scheduling component for football and women's and men's basketball designed to create new interconference games, enhance opportunities for student athletes, and optimize the college athletics experience for both student athletes and fans across the country. The scheduling alliance will begin as soon as practical while honoring current contractual obligations. A working group comprised of athletic directors representing the three conferences will oversee the scheduling component of the alliance, including determining the criteria upon which scheduling decisions will be made. All three leagues and the respective institutions understand that scheduling decisions will be an evolutionary process given current scheduling commitments. The Football Scheduling Alliance will feature additional attractive matchups across the three conferences while continuing to honor historic rivalries and the best traditions of college football. In women's and men's basketball, the three conferences will add early and midseason games as well as annual events that feature premier matchups between the three leagues. The three conferences will also explore opportunities for the vast and exceptional Olympic sports programs to compete more frequently and forge additional attractive and meaningful rivalries. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips put at the end of this press release, quote, "The ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 recognize the unique environment and challenges currently facing intercollegiate athletics, and we are proud and confident in this timely and necessary alliance that brings together like-minded institutions and conferences focused on the overall educational missions of our preeminent institutions. The alliance will ensure that the educational outcomes and experiences for student athletes participating at the highest level of collegiate athletics will remain the driving factor in all decisions moving forward." Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, quote, "Student athletes have been and will remain the focal point of the Big Ten, ACC, and Pac-12 conferences today. Through this alliance, we furthered our commitment to our student athletes by prioritizing our academics and athletics value systems. We are creating opportunities for student athletes to have elite competition and are taking the necessary steps to shape and stabilize the future of college athletics." And finally, Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff, quote, "The historic alliance announced today between the Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten is grounded in a commitment to our student athletes. We believe that collaborating together, we are stronger in our commitment to addressing the broad issues and opportunities facing college athletics," end quote. So, Lonzo, what we have here is an alliance created for two reasons. Number one is to create a football alliance that will allow these three different conferences to remain relevant with, to compete directly with the Southeastern Conference as a whole. That's it. That's number one. All the other stuff is great, right? The ability to schedule games against each other, the ability to create additional rivalries that are outside of what we currently know, et cetera, et cetera. All of those are bonuses that all come as a byproduct of creating a massive alliance that can compete with the SEC when it comes down to talk about expanding the playoffs, about expanding football, and more importantly, perhaps ultimately, when the NCAA bubble collapses and there is a vacuum for power at the top of college football, this three-conference alliance will now be able to step to the SEC and say, we have a problem with this, this, and this, address it, or we're out. And that's what it looks like they have started to accomplish with this, question mark.
I worry about alliances because alliances can be broken. I'm the only other thing is, well, there are two other things. They could just ignore the whole thing and just go on business as usual, or they could dissolve and become a super conference. This is the first step towards becoming a super conference without a doubt. The question is, and I keep joking about it, who will be the power here? Who will be the one who will stand up above the other two and take control of the entire alliance?
I mean, I think the premise of it was to be set up in a way that no one can do that.
But if there's conflict, someone has to resolve that conflict. Who resolves the conflict? You cannot have someone resolving the conflict unless there's someone above or a group of people above.
So you're saying effectively that for this alliance to work, there needs to be a centralized figure?
Yes. Unless they're going fully democratic on it, since there are three and, 2 votes win. I mean, if they do that, I guess that works.
Right.
But do you see an alliance such as this not having some sort of conflict? And could that conflict threaten to dissolve the alliance, and in their back door they were?
So yes and no, right? I think that it comes down to, you know what this is to me, Lonzo? This is every fantasy movie we've ever watched, right? I think we went down this road the other day, but screw it, I'm doing it anyway. The SEC is Smaug, and he is here for the desolation. The dragon's at the gates. He has hoarded the gold, and now he's angry. So now the hobbits, the men, and the elves, who in any other situation and timeline, Zoe, would hate each other because of their differences, now Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli have to team up together. I know that they are a different series than Smaug. I'm using them as an example. Calm down, Tolkien fans. All right, relax. But the elves, the humans, and the dwarves have to team up. And yes, you would think that for that mix of characters with different personalities, all of whom, by the way, have hated each other at different points in history in the past.
By the way, I'm seeing several tweets that are saying, no, I lost it. Hey, oh, there we go. Big Ten commish Kevin Warren. I think what the alliance symbolizes is there's a lot of good in college athletics. So a lot of people are asking, are they saying that the SEC is bad and the alliance is good?
They kind of have to, right?
Yes.
Because, like, if the SEC was good, then they wouldn't have formed the alliance. The formation of the alliance only comes because of the fact that the SEC has all the power, and they are afraid of it.
But is the alliance a wall to fend against possible takeover, or is it a challenge? I mean, do you put this together so the SEC cannot rule, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So can they peacefully coexist, or do they have to go at each other and constantly berate each other and all that? Or does football go on? I don't know.
I think that in fact, I'm in a Twitter discussion with a guy who used to listen to my show down on the Panhandle, is a big LSU guy. And he put up a screenshot of the alliance press release, right? And on that screenshot, he said, the alliance is scared enough of the SEC and TV money to form an alliance, and they're too scared to say in public that's why they're doing it. This is no way to run college sports. And my response to him was, it seems like the only other option, Lonzo, seems like the only other option is to just let the SEC do whatever they want, right? And just live with their decisions.
All right, we have some breaking news. According to Ian Rappaport, Travis Etienne suffered a significant tear, a serious Liz Frank injury that knocks him out for the next several months and potentially the season.
Hey, Liz Frank's injuries are no joke. No joke. Adam Schefter confirming test results today revealed the Jaguars rookie running back Travis Etienne suffered a midfoot sprain that is Lisfranc, and that now is likely to end his season. End quote. Rappaport has confirmed that, and Shefty has reported. So it is not a definite that Travis Etienne will miss this season, Lonzo, but he'll miss a chunk of it, most of it, probably all of it. Lisfranc injuries are no joke. They are no joke at all. So, and oh God, the worst gets worse for the Jags now. Worst gets worse for the Jags. What a big blow. I don't know what you were saying to me there, Alonzo, but it looked very dramatic and important.
Breaking news is brought to you by.
Oh, yes. By our friends at BetQL. Breaking news brought to you by our friends at BetQL. Be a better, and beat the books by going to BetQL.com or getting the BetQL app. Get the info the sports books don't want you to know from our friends at BetQL. Look, that's a big blow for Travis, his rookie year. That's somebody just texted in, who is Lisfranc?
She's someone you don't want to have a relationship with.
Correct. You do not want to have a relationship with Lisfranc. A Lisfranc, Lasfranc, is a tarsometatarsal fracture dislocation characterized by traumatic disruption between the articulation of the medial cuneiform and base of the second metatarsal.
Okay, so that texter was making fun of how I pronounced it, but I was just pronouncing it how it was spelled. The story I was reading spelled it L-I-Z, so that's not how it's spelled?
No, it's L-I-S.
Okay.
Lasfranc, all one word. No
so
break.
That's not on me, texter. I just read it as it was written.
A Lisfranc injury is a tarsometatarsal fracture dislocation characterized by traumatic disruption between the articulation of the medial cuneiform and the base of the second metatarsal. It means your toes go like this, and they ain't supposed to go like that. That's what that means. You want to see X-ray of it? So that spot right there, when all the little fun parts that connect your toes get widened out and split apart like that, that's what you're looking at.
So it's like you just had a match with Pete Dunne.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Except real, and we'll end your football season early. Y'all, I feel awful for Travis Etienne. That sucks.
I thought you were about to say, everybody pray for Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. Because he just lost. I mean, he's got there's other running backs back there, right? There's other running back. Who was the
Yeah, but he loses someone who he's familiar with.
Correct.
He loses someone who, he can league together. I'm guessing they're friends more than likely since they were teammates.
Correct.
You lose someone like that, it hurts, especially early on in the season.
Yeah. I mean, you got who was James Robinson. You still got James Robinson back there. 1,000-yard rusher last year was James Robinson. But ETN was going to give you a little bit more versatility out of the backfield, and he was going to give Trevor Lawrence some comfort. I got to say, Zoe, Jags might win 3 games this year. Might win 3 out of 17 this year. Herb's going to make it 2 years in Jacksonville, and he's done. Anybody want to take that bet right now? Herb's out in 2 years.
To look at the schedules. Do they play the Jets at some point?
there would be one. The Urban Meyer's playing 2 years, and then Lonzo, he's going to have health issues and need to go spend time with his family.
So you started the show off with your Urban Meyer hate,
and I will stay on it, bro. I will stay on it. Texans, Broncos, Cardinals, LLL. Well, they might beat the Texans.
They could beat the Texans.
They might beat the Texans. Bengals L, Titans L, Dolphins L, Seahawks definite L, Bills are an L, Colts are an L, Niners are an L, Falcons are an L, Rams are an L, Titans are an L, Texans is a maybe.
Is Joe Burrow
playing?
The Jets. Is Joe Burrow playing? Because if Joe Burrow is playing, it's probably an L. But if not, I don't know. They might be able to beat the Bengals.
Bengals are still better than them, even without Joey B. Jets, let's call it a win for funsies, although that's up to Zach Wilson. And the Patriots are an L, and the Colts are an L. They might win 3 games. Set the over-under at 2.5. Not ideal.
So can Trevor Lawrence handle the psychological baggage that goes along with winning your entire life and then not winning anymore?
I don't know. I don't know that it matters. I don't know that it matters. Like, even if he went out,
you have to unfortunately learn how to lose and learn how to come back from a loss.
You don't have a choice but to learn how to
and
lose.
if you haven't really lost your entire career, that's a tough lesson.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice but to learn how to lose in Jacksonville. He lost by being drafted to Jacksonville. That's an L. You're already into the L column by being stuck in the armpit of Florida. All right. Then he's got to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 L's. Then he's got a cocky, overconfident college football coach who does not know what he got himself into, who is going to go 2 years of L's and ditch Trevor and leave him by himself in Jacksonville to work out under another head coach down the road. L number 3, he hasn't played his first NFL game.
So if everything goes well and we're still together and the world still exists, okay, at what point is it 2 years? Is it 2 years at the beginning of the next season, or is it 2 years at the beginning of the NFL season? I need to know at what point to point out that you were wrong.
If Herb has success in the NFL.
No, you said that he would only make it 2 years.
Oh, yeah, no, he's only going to make it 2 years.
So
in 2 years.
So after the second season,
if he starts as head coach week 1 of third
during
season,
and he makes it past that,
because he won't get fired. He'll quit.
Well, anyway,
Again,
I'm just trying to figure
like
out
he
at
does.
what point you'll be wrong.
Over and over. He'll have health issues, or he'll need to spend time with his family, or whatever other lame-ass excuse he comes up with, because when his team isn't good, he cuts bait and runs. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Yay! Delay button training. As if I don't know how to use that thing. Why do they call it delay button? Call it a dump button. That's what it is.
Touchdown passes for Jameis Winston as he looks to succeed Drew Brees as the starter in New Orleans. Light day around baseball on Monday, the Yankees beat Atlanta.
Okay, I don't understand.
Have you seen the Milk Crate Challenge?
I have not, but is it?
You know what it is?
No, but is it something that Mark could actually do on his show?
God, no.
Okay, because he does those things.
He would die.
We did the kick the cap challenge.
Yeah. How'd that go? Poorly as I see it going in my head.
He did it, but he cheated. So I was not very successful, but I am larger and have a bad knee.
Right.
So it's hard for me to put all my weight on. Well, he did.
Right. How?
There's the lid wasn't on enough. It was barely hanging on. So all I needed
to hit it.
He just needed
No finesse.
to graze with a large toenail, and there
Right.
we
So
go.
the Milk Crate Challenge is you stack 1 milk crate and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6 up to like 7 or 8 and then back down on the other cide, and you try to walk up it. And the milk crates are really
okay, yeah, I saw that.
right. So my buddy Brian just put up this meme.
Oh, I didn't realize you
Yeah.
put it up there. Yeah. Okay.
That is a great meme.
As someone who worked at a couple different grocery stores and has walked on milk crates before, it's all a matter of balance. I mean, it's just like going to the fair and going up the rope thing. Yeah. Some people have that kind of balance. Most people don't. I didn't say I could do it, but it's a matter of balance. I will say I don't think heavy people can do it. Unless they're really light on the toes. It's amazing the things that will catch on and that people will actually try. Josh says Mark wouldn't get to the third tier. No, how he would get around it? He would get mini crates.
He would what?
Get mini crates.
No, you gotta go full milk crate.
Does it say that? No, it just says milk crate. I don't see where it said. I'm taking the angle that I know he would take.
You think he would cheat?
It's not really cheating. No, it's not cheating if it's not specific. It's not specific on the challenge. The small milk crates are still milk crates. They're not labeled as mini crates or anything.
Off the hook.
No, I am.
That's one that you go, okay, you're not cheating. But this is clearly not in the spirit of the game. New study says eating a hot dog can take 36 minutes off your life.
Yeah, I think Stathakis sent us
What if it's
something
a
about
chili
that.
dog?
Yeah. It's got to take
It's not a hot dog.
Got to take a little bit more. I don't really eat hot dogs. I will every once in a while, like every couple years. I'm just not really a hot dog guy. So now bratwurst, that's different.
Also, if you see stories like that pop up, text them to me to whatever and remind me to put them in my prep, because there are so many of these studies or these stories that I start the show and I'm like, I forgot to put that in my prep.
Okay, because again, Michael tagged us last night, so I thought you saw it and just didn't care.
I didn't just forgot to put it in my prep. I get so caught
So
up.
what you're saying, Rob?
I wonder. So these are soundproof. I wonder how far this.
They're not really. I mean,
I wonder if they can hear that down the hall.
they will dampen. They don't kill this. Kill it.
I
Oh,
wonder if Chris can hear this in his office.
not if he's talking.
Speaking up.
You guys having a conversation earlier. I thought I was gonna. I couldn't hear anything. Hurry. And then he leaves the room. I don't know. So what's he doing? Why is he leaving the room? I don't know. Although he's running back, I can hear it.
I just want to see if he finished he put my mounts up. I want to see if he finished. And he did. And the monitors are in exactly the same place as they were on the stand.
So you don't have adjusters on the, or
do,
they
but
come on.
they can push back a little bit before they just hit the wall. Like there's just the poles only got so much it could be backwards, which is not a complaint. I still like it aesthetically. It looks cooler.
Sounds like a complaint.
I shouldn't have said anything. As soon as I said that, I'm like, he's gonna tell Chris I was complaining, and I'm not.
No, I won't, because I don't care that much.
So they were just talking on ESPN about a study that has come out, and I have not read the study yet. I have not read it. I don't know what they're like, how they did they do a double blind? Like, how do they establish it? I've always loved these. Every time you smoke a cigarette, it takes 15 minutes off your life. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like, is it just the average length of life of smokers versus non-smokers? And then like heavy smokers versus, how do they figure out that every time you eat a hot dog, it takes 36 minutes off of your life? How do they determine that? A study conducted by researchers at the University of Michigan evaluated more than 5,800 foods.
Where?
Michigan.
Okay, we can already discount this thing.
Study conducted by researchers at the University of the Goat evaluated more than 5,800 foods, ranking them by their nutritional disease. What the hell? Nutritional disease burden to humans. Findings in the journal Nature Food. Oh, it's always some hippie magazines. If you eat hot dogs, you're going to die 36 minutes earlier. You should only eat soy dogs. Eating a hot dog could cost the person 36 minutes of healthy life, and then they have to say something like this every time. While choosing to eat a serving of nuts could help one gain 26 minutes of extra healthy life. Don't try that. Don't try that crap on me, Nature Food Magazine.
So what if
Trying
you
to give me bonus life? Like, what's that movie with Justin Timberlake where they have the clocks on their arm? You ever seen that movie?
No, but I know the one you're talking about. So it's kind of weird, but so let's say you ate a hot dog with peanuts on it. What have you done?
Net zero.
Yeah, so you're good.
In Time, that was the movie. So in the movie In Time, all their currency was literally time, right? Like there was a chip in you that kept you alive, and you bartered with time, right? Like you time was your money, literally. So like if you wanted a burger, you had to give the person selling the burger like 30 seconds of your time to have that burger. And you would go gamble with the time on your arm, whatever. Everything was all the money was time. And these folks are trying to tell you, if you eat a hot dog, you will die 36 minutes earlier. But if you eat a handful of nuts, you will live 26 minutes longer.
Hey, but
first off, that's not true. You got to die at some point.
You're right. But if you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you increase your life by 33 minutes. PB&J, baby.
First off, none of this is true. None of it. Researchers also found that substituting 10% of daily caloric intake from beef and processed meats for a mix of fruits, veggies, nuts, legumes, and select seafood could reduce a person's dietary carbon footprint by 1/3 and allow people to gain 48 minutes of healthy minutes per day. Now, don't get me wrong, Zoe. I'm trying to be less of a fat. All right? And before we went on the show, I was like, if I don't eat before the show, it's going to be worse than it normally is. So I went and got a burger.
Let's see. So I walked into the office to the smell of fast food.
So I got a burger. And I got to tell you, when I finished the burger, you know what my immediate thought was?
Meat sweats. I have never heard that word said out loud.
Legumes?
Yeah, you knew exactly which one I was
exactly
talking
what
about.
word it was.
Are you sure you're saying it right? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Do I look like a legumes guy?
Hey,
Do you think you're ever going to walk in our office and see me knocking back some legumes?
Hey, yo, you eating the legumes today, I see. All right. Pass some of them legumes.
Study says that breakfast sandwiches, burgers, and red meat were all found to be, quote, almost exclusively negative, end quote, indicating that eating an additional serving of these foods is health damaging, according to the study. On the other hand, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, ready-to-eat cereals, and non-starchy veggies were all deemed positive foods. Every hot dog takes 36 minutes off of your life, according to this study. You know what my only response to that study is, Lonzo? What happens if I eat a chili dog? Quick break. I'm back after this. 36 minutes closer to dead than I was before on the Rob Brown Show with Rob and the Dystopian Nightmare here on ESPN Upstate.
So every July 4th, we watch Joey Chestnut take more time off his life, I guess. So when my daughter was a child and she would only eat hot dogs cut up and couldn't get her to eat anything else, I was contributing to, her demise. I feel bad now. The cool part is the people who came up with the study got paid to do it.
Just how do you come up with those specific numbers?
You know what?
Legumes.
Legumes
are worth 36 minutes.
Legumes.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
adventures. Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling cool
And for the record,
that just aren't right?
this is not me saying that I don't believe that fruits and veggies are healthier than hot dogs and hamburgers. They obviously are. This is me questioning the whole methodology of a study like this. How does one go, enjoy that hot dog, you're going to die 36 minutes sooner than you would have before?
All right, listen. Hold on. Oh, come on, play. What are you doing?
Legume. Legume.
Legume. Sounds French.
Legume.
All right, so now you know what to do. Next time.
Legume.
Legume.
Would you like a hot dog, a hamburger, or a hamburger, or legume?
Can you order those at a local restaurant?
I'm assuming a legume is like a nut. Legume, a leguminous plant, member of the pea family, especially one grown as a crop. Apparently, a legume could be like one of a bunch of different styles of peas.
A legume is a plant in the family of or the fruit or seed of such a plant. When used as dry grain, the seed is also called a pulse. Legume are grown agriculturally, primarily for human consumption.
Can I just say real quickly that I am not doubting that fruits and veggies and nuts are healthier than hot dogs and hamburgers, okay? I'm not doubting that those things are better and healthier for you. I'm saying, how in the world have they come to the determination that you can just eat a legume and all of a sudden you live 26 minutes longer? But if I eat a hot dog, I die 36 minutes sooner. Does that mean, Lonzo, that if I eat a hot dog, but then I eat 2 handfuls of legumes, that I've still eaten the hot dog, but I've added 10 minutes to my life?
Yeah, it's simple math.
Math!
Yes.
How does it work? Texter says it's legume, by the way. LUH-JHOOM. Legume.
Yeah, but we just, we looked up a pronunciation guide and it said legume.
Texter says intercourse takes 15 minutes off of the life of your heart. 52-year-old with a 20-year-old's heart, ... Oh, God.
You'll read anything, won't you? That had nothing.
I didn't know where that was going.
Nothing to do with legume.
We were going with that. All right. 844-477-3776. I have 2 things about this contract. Nicole Arbach on Twitter at NICOLEAUERBACH. Phenomenal follow today. Apparently, Lonzo, I want your reaction to this in live and living color. Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff said about the alliance, and I quote, "There is no signed contract. There was an agreement among 3 gentlemen and a commitment from 41 presidents and chancellors. There is no signed document, and there doesn't need to be," end quote.
We, the people gathered here, do so agree. And winks all around the room.
Winks all around the room. There it is.
Winks all around.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. There is no contract. There is no signed contract. There was an agreement amongst 3 gentlemen and a commitment from 41 presidents and chancellors. There is no signed document, and there doesn't need to be. I will take sentences that have been definitely said before by people who then regretted that statement. Are you kidding me? So I'm sitting here getting all sorts of hyped over the Alliance of College Football, thinking this is going to be some like college athletics changing day in the world of football. And instead, I get these 3 conferences saying, yeah, we just kind of whatever. We're just going to kind of do what, we're going to do what comes naturally.
So people are already tweeting about who the mole in the room is. And, snatch the ring is going to go for it. And I got to go with ACC.
Yep.
I do.
Yep. Our buddy Mark Ennis, who is over in Louisville, Kentucky, got the chance to meet him at the ACC Media Days in Charlotte a couple weeks back. He got asked, given the ACC is the only one of these 3 leagues that has a TV network and significant deal with ESPN, and this isn't even legally binding, why is Jim Phillips doing this? And Ennis said, quote, ACC is ESPN's eyes and ears in the room, be good soldiers and get their own deal sweetened, end quote. He thinks that the AC, or he was being sarcastic. Either way, in my mind, this is canon now. This is what happened. The ACC are ESPN's good little soldiers in line trying to figure out exactly what the plan is so they can bring it back to ESPN. I don't think that's the case because here's the deal. Even if the ACC has the agreement with ESPN, and they do, all right? Even if they have the agreement with ESPN to continue the ACC net through 2036, which they do, at the end of the day, do you know what the ACC network does for the ACC if the ACC is still being left out because the SEC gets all of the preferential treatment from ESPN? Nothing. It doesn't help. The ACC will still be living in the SEC's world. They'll just be slightly better off than the Big Ten and the Pac-12. That's it. That's all.
So during the Secret Alliance meetings, they will be wondering how in the world is the SEC finding out? And Jim Phillips will be in there on the phone going, "No, man, I'm just ordering food."
Sitting in the corner, whistling to nobody. I'm just here for the chicken and waffles,
Jim
guys.
Phillips is now the SEC's sources.
I'm intrigued. I like the spy mystery that's being written here, though. I really do. I'm in for it.
The messenger.
Just hadn't played it in a while.
Texas says ESPN, I was hoping for more divisive food talk today. Check that box. What were we divisive about? What? Oh, because I asked the question, a hot dog takes 36 minutes off your life. What happens if I eat a chili dog?
Yes.
And that was just
Yes, it was.
The old
That was anti South Carolina.
Yes, you know me.
Yeah, that's you.
You know me. You know me.
You're
Very
just here to
anti-South Carolina.
defy the state.
Correct. I'm just here to be the heel. That's all.
And the number one sports show.
Speaking of the heel,
in South Carolina.
I didn't even think about hyping this. We got a new segment debuting a week from today.
We do.
One.
That was like a half.
Doesn't matter. It's
Okay,
one.
fine. My mouth work.
A week from today, we're going to debut Heels and Faces. I don't know if that's going to be the finalized name for it. I'm still working on the name for it. But basically, we are going to take stories from around the internet where people have had to make a decision and take an action. And we are going to determine whether they were the heel or the face of the story. Are they a jerk or are they in the clear? And we'll take your votes on that. Texter says, if it wasn't in writing, it didn't happen. Yeah, my old man used to tell me that all the time. Did you get it in writing? Nope. Then it doesn't matter.
They didn't even say there was a handshake.
Nope.
I don't know if you can do
they
that
called it
virtually.
a handshake agreement.
Yeah, well,
no, they didn't. They called it a gentleman, an agreement amongst 3 gentlemen.
Right.
It's always the guy that says gentleman's agreement that ends up being the bad guy.
And it could be. I agree. But to me, a gentleman's agreement is sealed with a handshake. And they did this virtually. So there was no handshake, which means there's no agreement. Definitely no gentleman's agreement.
844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Twitter trending topics to wrap it up when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. I'm Rob. He is the dystopian nightmare Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart.
$2021 Golf's Upstate Golf Cart is available for you now. I played Saturday morning. Me and Diesel got out, as a matter of fact, played a little. Diesel, by the way, I got to give him credit, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you tell him that I've done so. Diesel, shooting right at a hundo this past weekend. My guy's been somebody's been practicing. And you can practice and get better too. And not just practice and get better, but do it on 9 of the most beautiful, prestigious, challenging, but enjoyable golf courses around the entire Upstate with the 2021 Upstate Golf Card, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Go to upstategolfcard.com. Get one for you, your friends, your family. They are $99. $99. You're playing all 9 rounds. That is cheap, son. And those courses are fantastic. Go right now to upstategolfcard.com to grab yours. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card.
By the way, Alan, about 15 minutes earlier in the hour, and we discussed that. So we were aware of that. Yeah.
I lost my ball. Did it roll over there?
Yeah, it did, actually.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll soccer it.
Okay, perfect. There it goes. Soccer it back.
Left-footed, actually. I have those kind of skills.
Sunday, Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. The regular season is in sight as the Dallas Cowboys and Jacksonville Jaguars conclude the preseason from Dallas, Texas. Hi, this is Kevin Figures. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, and myself for all the action as Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys look to end the preseason with a victory against Urban Meyer and the Jaguars. It's the Cowboys and the Jaguars. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Sunday afternoon at 12:30. The NFL plays here on ESPN.
Diesel's in there worshiping the devil.
Worshiping the devil.
I believe the song was called Fear of the Dark. At least that's what he was almost chanting, you would say.
Kevin Warren said, I wouldn't say this is a reaction to Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC, but to be totally candid, you have to evaluate what's going on in the landscape of college athletics. So I wish they would just say what it is. Yeah, we don't think the SEC should be able to have all the power.
So is wearing flannel in the middle of the summer, is that a wardrobe choice or a lifestyle choice, or are you just compelled?
It's an identity.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, and if you're like me, there's a spot where that's just what you own.
Okay, because Diesel's wearing flannel. No, I could. If
Also, is it flannel or
the
is
flannel
it
pattern, I guess.
Yes.
I didn't walk up and go, hey, let me see feel the thickness of your shirt, because that's. I could easily see him wearing it, out fishing in the fall, but it's not.
Oh, once it gets cold outside,
Yeah.
I'll be flannel every day. See if he comes in here and sells me this.
Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely with Snapshot from Progressive. Savings you can use to find more room.
So the only way you stop doing that is when equipment breaks, right?
Or if somebody that's higher ranking than me comes in here and tells me to stop. Or if you tell me to stop.
I like railing against the man. Throw away.
Railing against the man.
The entirety of Twitter trending topics is going to be talking about
legumes.
working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu.
Excuse me, what are the late game he's in? I want to put life back on my life.
Somebody just put up the rest of this Rolling Stone stories. Rolling Stone drummer punching Mick Jagger story, and it's a great story. I live in Clemson, so y'all don't come in on the radio. I try to use y'all's app, and I just want to say it sucks. It keeps cutting off.
We're sorry. Of course, you didn't hear that, but we're sorry. We'll say it multiple times. We're sorry. So maybe that part, you could actually hear that part. All right, it's time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he will read.
J.R. Smith has been cleared to play golf at, what was it, NCAT, I think? But J.R. Smith has gotten permission from the NCAA to use his eligibility to play college golf. He will be attending, North Carolina A&T. There have been questions about whether or not the NCAA will allow him to play golf given its amateurism rules, but Smith has not gone pro in golf, so he was eligible to play. He is 35 years old and will be playing college golf. And hey, I'm not against taking a roadie up to NCAT to watch J.R. Smith play golf. Do you think he will treat his golf opponents like he did his basketball opponents?
As long as he remembers what hole he's on and what he's supposed to do there, it should be. I don't know. Will he have more success than, let's say, when Michael Jordan went to play baseball?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I did hear some guy on one of the national shows but a couple of days ago say that they actually were members. They were members at the same golf course as the one that J.R. Smith used to golf at during his NBA days. And apparently J.R. Smith demanded of himself to be a good golfer. Like he attacked it like Michael Jordan did of, I want to beat all of my friends at this game. So apparently he's at least an okay little golfer, which I'm intrigued by. I
don't think he's really a little golfer. He's like,
you know what I mean?
6'6", 6'7".
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like to go watch to see what he rolls up in, and wonder how expensive his clubs are. And is that regulated in college about what kind of clubs you can use and all that kind of? Because I don't know.
There's NCAA rules. Like you can only have X amount. I want to say it's like 14 in the bag total, and you can't switch them out once you're out on the course. There's rules about what balls you can use and how many of them, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, but like I said, I'd be interested. I'd drive up there to watch him play one round for sure.
Let's face it. He'll be down here somewhere playing, probably somewhere in the great state of South Carolina.
Texas says it was Greenberg that said he was pretty good. So yeah, I'll go watch him play. Why not? Follow J.R. Smith around for a day.
All right. The next thing that is trending is Booker T.
Old 5-time Booker T is getting roasted
by people
Twitter,
like you.
By people who are good at talking about wrestling. Booker T said that CM Punk screwed up his return because he talked about WWE and ice cream bars. That Booker and Lonzo, Bookzo.
By the way, I didn't.
Lonzo T.
I never said anything about it.
You didn't need to say it. You didn't need to say it.
I love ice cream. I don't know where you're going there. How could you not like ice cream?
That 5-time. That's why we wanted to watch the return.
For ice cream?
For going after his old place of employment. Okay. And yes, to see what callbacks. Hey, listen.
I have heard Punk. And then yesterday it just popped up on my feed. What do other wrestlers think about CM Punk? They do not like him.
Cool. I'm sure other WWE wrestlers don't like him.
They weren't all specifically WWE wrestlers. So you automatically think it's just WWE.
So
There's a
here's
bunch
the
of indie guys I've never heard of
Sure.
on there too. So.
Sure. There's going to be a lot of guys who don't like him. There's a lot of guys who don't like Jim Rome. Doesn't mean Jim Rome's not the king of the sports talk radio world, right? I mean,
He's not the king of the sports.
Who is?
It's not him.
Who's bigger than Rome?
It's not him.
It absolutely is him. I don't like it either because I'm in that group. I don't like it.
Some would say I would.
Not Howard. It's Rome.
No. No, it would be a certain former ESPN anchor who has his own show and has for a while. That would be Dan Patrick.
Not anymore. Maybe 10 years ago.
Dan Patrick forever, man.
Oh, I love DP. He's
No, you know who the king of the sports world is, aside from South Carolina, because
I was gonna
that's
say,
us. That's us.
It's the kingdom minus South Carolina.
It's Pat McAfee.
You ain't wrong.
It's
You ain't
not.
wrong.
It's not Rome. It's Pat
You
McAfee.
ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Yeah, of course other people are going to like him. He is abrasive. Of course he's abrasive. I still tuned in to watch the callbacks.
I agree with Booker T because I had the opportunity to interview him and he was awesome. So.
Okay. Texas says you're showing your age, Rob. Nobody knows Jim Rome under the age of 30. I do not think that's correct.
There's hesitation in him.
I would switch places with Jim Rome today. All right. And so would you.
Have a take. Don't suck. Blah, 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 blah.
So
don't get run.
That's going to do it for the show. I appreciate you listening.
Oh,
Have
no.
a great day.
We're getting
Thanks
run.
for coming to the jungle. Grab a vine. We're out. We're out. Mark Ryan and Diesel are up next with Offsides. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.